Jack Dalton's life as a ranger in the Australian outback was far from dull, but nothing could have prepared him for what was about to unfold. The scorching heat of the late afternoon bore down on the rugged terrain, casting long shadows across the red and orange earth. Jack's dusty all-terrain vehicle bounced along the uneven tracks as he patrolled the vast wilderness, his mind on the routine tasks of the day. Suddenly, a brilliant beam of light tore through the sky, carving a blazing path to the horizon where it ended in a fiery crash. The ground trembled faintly under the impact, and a plume of smoke rose in the distance. Jack's ranger instincts kicked in immediately. Grabbing his radio, he called the station. "Hello, Liz, it's Jack. I just saw something big crash in the northern sector. I'm heading there to check it out." "Copy that, Jack." "Be careful," Liz replied, her voice tinged with concern. Navigating the uneven terrain, Jack pushed his vehicle toward the crash site. The fading sunlight painted the sky in hues of amber and gold, creating a stark contrast against the rising column of smoke. When he arrived, the scene was surreal. The ground was scorched and smoking, debris scattered everywhere, and in the middle of the chaos lay the remnants of what was clearly not an ordinary aircraft. It was sleek, metallic, and bore no resemblance to any human-made machine. As Jack approached cautiously, his sharp eyes scanned for signs of movement. That's when he saw her. Amid the wreckage lay a figure, a girl, barely conscious. Her skin glowed faintly with an ethereal luminescence, and her hair shimmered like the depths of space. She looked fragile, otherworldly, and completely out of place in the harsh outback. "Hello? Can you hear me?" Jack called out, keeping his distance. He raised his hands to show he wasn't a threat, his voice calm and reassuring. The girl stirred slightly, her large, luminous eyes opening to reveal a mixture of fear and confusion. She tried to sit up but winced in pain, her movements unsteady. "It's okay. I'm here to help," Jack said softly. He took a cautious step closer, kneeling a few feet away. "My name is Jack. What's yours?" For a moment, the girl's gaze locked onto his. She mumbled something in a strange, melodic language that Jack couldn't comprehend. Her voice was like music, alien yet captivating. "I don't understand, but we'll figure it out," Jack said with a kind smile. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a bottle of water, holding it out to her tentatively. She hesitated before reaching for it, her fingers brushing against his briefly. Her touch felt almost weightless. "Kayla," she said suddenly, pointing to herself. "Kayla?" Jack repeated, testing the name. "That's a beautiful name." Kayla nodded faintly, her expression softening. Encouraged, Jack carefully examined her for injuries. She had a few cuts and bruises, but, thankfully, nothing seemed broken. He helped her to her feet, supporting her weight as they walked slowly to his vehicle. As they drove back to the ranger station, Jack kept his tone light and friendly, trying to make her feel at ease. "You're in the outback, Kayla. It's pretty remote out here. Honestly, it's probably the best place for you to have landed. We need to figure out where you came from and why you're here. But first, let's get you safe." Kayla gazed out the window, her eyes filled with awe and trepidation as the vast landscape rolled by. She spoke again in her melodic tongue, but Jack could only shake his head apologetically. "Don't worry. We'll figure it out," he said with determination. By the time they reached the station, night had fallen. The small building, usually a solitary beacon in the wilderness, now felt like the heart of an unfolding mystery. Jack helped Kayla out of the vehicle, her steps still unsteady. Inside, the warm glow of the station's lights and the familiar clutter of maps and radios offered a sense of normalcy. Liz, Jack's assistant, stood up abruptly as they entered, her eyes widening at the sight of Kayla. "Jack! What is this?" she asked, her voice a mix of concern and curiosity. "This is Kayla," Jack said. "She needs our help." Liz's professional instincts took over. "Let's make her comfortable. There's a cot in the back room. I'll grab some blankets and the first aid kit." After Kayla was settled, Jack pulled Liz aside. I don't think she's from around here, he said in a hushed tone. In fact, I think she's from much farther away. Liz's brow furrowed, but she nodded. All right, let's take this one step at a time. First, she needs rest. Then, we need to figure out how to communicate with her. Back in the main room, Kayla sat on the cot, her eyes darting around with cautious curiosity. Her gaze landed on the maps pinned to the wall, and she pointed to them, murmuring something in her lyrical voice. It looks like she wants to know where she is, Jack said. Let's start with the basics. Over the next few hours, Jack and Liz took turns teaching Kayla simple words. They pointed to objects and said their names in English, which Kayla repeated with surprising accuracy. Her quick learning impressed them both. Jack pointed to himself. Jack, Jack, Kayla repeated, her voice clear and careful. Liz smiled and pointed to herself. Liz, Liz, Kayla echoed, her lips curling into a small smile. Encouraged, Jack pulled out a map and pointed to their location. Australia, he said slowly. Australia, Kayla tried, her accent making the words sound exotic. As the night wore on, their lesson turned into a deeper exchange. Kayla pointed to the stars outside and then to herself. The gesture spoke volumes, confirming her extraterrestrial origin without needing words. From the stars, Jack murmured in awe. Kayla nodded, her eyes shimmering with a mix of sadness and relief. She drew symbols in the dust on the table, intricate and strange, as if trying to convey something deeper about herself. Together, they began piecing together a fragile but vital connection, one that bridged two vastly different worlds under the same vast sky.